Hey guys, it's Diamond and Leah from the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. We're at 3Canyons Permaculture Farm and we're picking up where we left off with planting trees. So I'm gonna put the bucket out there and we're gonna come down on this bucket real quick. So we're about to put some trees in, and what you have to do is you have to cut the string off of these bundles, which I've done. But because a lot of these fruit trees look exactly the same, like the plum, it looks really similar to the apricot. If you don't, now I know that the apricots have these weird bent trunks here where they go into the ground and they're also red, but if you lose track you won't know what you're planting. So put the marker on at least one tree in a bundle and try to keep the bundles together. I know the Nanking cherry because they're the only ones that are budding, and the honey locust are obvious. They look different than the rest. So now let's come over to the holes. So I used we cheated on a few of the holes because I have this right there. Would you just look at that? So that's a standard 3-point harness auger for the back of a tractor. And that tractor's 40 plus horsepower, so it digs a hole in a few seconds. And these bare root trees have some pretty long tap roots. So we want some pretty deep holes. And there's a good shovel to let you see how deep that hole is. It's probably 18 to 24 inches deep, which should be your standard. So we've got 1, 2, 3 holes dug here. I've got another hole up here. We're gonna dig this hole out too. And we've got a hole down there. And what we want to do is place these trees so that we have fertilizing trees. Our leguminous tree, which is in the pea family, is the honey locust, right here, which gets thorns. But more importantly, when you prune this tree, the roots under the ground die and they fix nitrogen in the ground for the fruit trees. So when you're looking at an array of trees like this, we're probably going to want to put a honey locust like the second one in right where Leah is. And then we'll do a cherry on the left side because cherries are small. So we'll have a nice cherry bush. Then we'll have a fertilizing honey locust. Then we can do an apricot, which is another small tree, or a plum, and then the other here. Then we'll throw in another honey locust between here and the pine, and another honey locust up there, and a couple more fruit trees. So that's the plan. And so we're going to pull some trees and show you how we're going to plant them. It takes 2 people with these bare roots because one person's going to dangle it in the right position. The other person's got to adjust the roots and fill up the dirt. Now we're simply using organic topsoil, local. These are local that we get. This is made over in the San Luis Valley. $2 a bag, $3 a bag. Or no, $2.10 and $2.10. So $4 gives us perfect soil that we mix up, half manure, half topsoil, and we're going to mix it in with the local soil, which is not really soil. It's more, what would you call it?
Silty dust.
Yeah, and then when it dries, it becomes cement like clay.
And when it's wet, it's a sinkhole.
Yeah,
Quicksand.
it's like quicksand mud. It's the weirdest mud. So that's what we're dealing with here, and we'll be right back and show you how to plant some of these trees. See how, now Grem's watching right now. She's really interested.
You want to dig holes with me? Oh, you just want. She's so confused.
Okay, we're back, and we found a perfect way to keep Gremmy away. Now what I did was I took out the trees and I laid them in the hole. The beauty about using this polymer is that the polymer coats the roots. So the roots are now coated, so even on a windy day, these roots will not dry out. What I want you to look at on here is that this is the end of the coloration change. This is the level that you bury it to. Each tree is different, but you can see where the fingerling roots right here on the edge end. So you can basically bury it anywhere up in this region. But you want to have these roots in all the different species. What we're looking at here is a Nanking cherry fanned out. And your hole has to be at least this deep, which is a little over a foot. So I got the cherry in this hole. I got the nitrogen fixer in this hole. This is what the tap roots of a locust look like, a little shorter. Only requires about a 1 foot hole. And then the last tree we'll plant on this take is an apricot, and you can see how they've cut the taproot short, and it's really fat. So we're gonna be very careful in placing this in the hole. So basically you just need a person to hold the tree at the level you want. That's a little higher, go a little higher. Because I want it just a little bit above grade in the middle of these two. And you're gonna have to do this in phases. And I'll show you what I mean. So we're just gonna dump a whole bunch of soil out here. And I'm gonna put some in the hole. And then we're gonna kind of spread these roots out. See how pretty that is? That's a pretty good spread.
Yeah.
And then get some of the soil around. And then you're gonna kind of wanna gently tamp it in places. In layers, I mean. Now what you're also going to get is, on the final stage here, when we're getting the final tamp here, this whole tree is going to go down a little. So make sure you account for that. That looks pretty good. Pretty good height. And what we've also done is take out the sod here and moved it to the right to make a dish here, so that when we water it, we can capture keep the moisture in here. So we're going to need a little bit more soil. But what you should see here is that we've got a nice round mound. And that's pretty good planting. What do you think?
Yep. Indeed.
And then we'll just tamp it in. As soon as you get these babies in the ground, you're going to want to water them. So real quick here, we'll do a honey locust. And before we start, let's put some soil. We need a shallow hole here. Okay, you can look that up. Ha! It's like the old lady wheelbarrow.
The two-wheeler. You think that's a little high?
No. I think it's perfect. Should have a rake. But this will do. Some people can't afford a rake. Now I'm just going to go around here and heel this in. The beauty about bare roots is that you can get a lot of them for cheap. So if a lot of them die, you don't cry. Whereas when you're buying a tree, they can cost 20 to 100 bucks or more, 160 bucks when that dies.
It sucks.
And then you can cry. That's pretty crazy. So we really haven't had a lot of water to work with here until recently, and now we have a well. So we're gonna have some excellent results coming soon to a permaculture orchard near you. So we got a lot of trees to plant. See ya. Say bye.
Bye.
You're free to go.
Oh, really? Thank you.